Stick around. I'm live on the ice fishing eel pout. All right, and here we are live again, and of course, as soon as I start messing with buttons, this happens. Second I started getting ready for this live, look what happens is, got another one. All right, what we're doing here, we're fishing some pout tonight. We're gonna talk about pout fishing. I'm gonna tell you how the bite is. We're gonna discuss that. Once again, we have the, did we lose it? We have the pout cam going right there. Got a couple in the live well right now. I'm going to unhook this guy and run him out to the live well really quickly. One thing, guys, when you're fishing these pout, oh boy, when you're fishing these pout, you need to make sure to have a good plier because when they come in, they crush these baits. The other two had the bait all the way down their throat. This one got it in the lip, so it's a little bit easier. Get him unhooked real quick. Go put him in the live well. Okay, got him. All right. Give you a good look at them there. Look at the colors on these guys. Beautiful pout here in central Minnesota. Colors are absolutely gorgeous on these things. These don't quite look like a Lake of the Woods pout. They have a lot more character to them. All right. Press some buttons here. Perfect. All right, cool, guys. I'm going to run this out to the pout live well real quick. Toss this in there. Be right back, and then we'll talk about what we got going on here. Okay, everybody, what we're doing is pout fishing. A couple things you need to know about pout fishing. First of all, pout love to eat at night. Second of all, pout's main source of food is this guy. Just spit up this right here. Here's what pout love to eat. Get this right in front of the screen for you so you can see it. Crayfish. That one just spit up a crayfish. Basically, the setup here is where we are fishing. We're fishing adjacent to deep water. We got a ledge that comes up, and on top of the ledge there's a bunch of gravel where all the crayfish are. And kind of a little bit of a transition here coming up onto this ledge. So we're kind of in like a mud, rock kind of bottom right now. It's a little pebbly down there, and there are crayfish down here where we are right now, and that's why the pout are here. A little glitchy there. All right, cool. See my live scope right there. Perfect. All right. I am going to, first of all, let's show you what I'm using. The lure that I'm using right now is the Bomber Slab Spoon. Absolutely love this bait for pout. I'm going to put some more minnows on this too. I got it out. There it is right there. Bomber Slab Spoon in white. This one I do have a little bit of glow tape stuck on it, just to give it a little more pop. But this lure is phenomenal for pout fishing. It's nice and heavy, so you can really stir up that mud on the bottom, and pout seem to like that when you really stir that bottom up a lot. So I'm basically, as I'm jigging here, grab this minnow, as I'm jigging here, I'm basically banging this spoon off the bottom, just causing kind of a ruckus down there, and that's what's calling these pout in. When I hook these minnows on this treble, so I hook 2 minnows in the back, then I hook 1 in the head and break it in half. So the theory here is with this these two minnows that are tail hooked, it's a monster minnow. These two minnows that are tail hooked, they're going to kind of give that wounded fish effect, and the pout will sense that, and then they will also be able to smell the ones that I cut the head off on. So that's what I do right there. I'll show you that real quick. Just like that. See that? Alright, cool. Alright, you'll see this drop back down here then. Alright, about, there it is right there. See it on the middle of the screen. Boom. Alright, so when you're watching on this live scope for these pout, they will be creeping along the bottom, and you'll really have to watch for them. I'm also going to get my dead stick down too here. Okay, let me get this dead stick baited up and back down, then we'll talk about this a little more. Same lure on this one. White, bomber slab spoon, same deal. I'm going to bait it up the same way. I'm going to drop it down. These pout are funny, they kind of come through in little waves. So you'll catch one or two, and then it'll be quiet for about 15-20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you'll have kind of another little flurry of these guys go through. We got Billy fishing with me, the pout expert from Northern Minnesota Backwater Adventures Guide Service. He's over in the house a little ways away from me. If he catches a pout, he's going to toss it in the live well. We'll watch him do that as he catches them. Cool thing about these pout is too, they bite all night long. So I mean, you can go home, have supper with the family, do whatever, put the kids to bed, and then come out and crush some pout. And truthfully, right now, this pout bite is just getting started right now. It's not in full swing yet. I expect by the middle end of next week, they'll really be feeding. As we get closer to the spawn, they'll start putting the feed bag on. I would say right now it's not full blast right now. Okay, you saw that go down. So when I work this dead stick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it just right off the bottom, just like that. So those minnow tails are almost just like hitting the mud just a little bit. I'm going to let her down just a little bit more. And just cause a little bit of commotion down there. That's what I'm going to do. Set it right, a little bit more. Set it right there. So it's just touching that mud and kind of stirring it up just a little bit. And you'll see as I jig, watch as I jig this, you'll see the sediment coming up off the bottom as I jig. That's kind of what I do, is I just pound the mud like that, and like I said, they come through in little groups of 3 or 4, about every 20 minutes or so. When you guys are going pout fishing and you would like to try one of these slab spoons, or another bait that works phenomenal for this is the Lindy Rattling Flyer. That works awesome. You don't need to go buy a bunch of weird off-the-wall pout stuff. Any heavier jig that glows and has rattle, all those new colors of Rattling Flyers, those all glow and they all have a sweet rattle in them, and they all have a nice treble hook on them. There's the pout right there on the bottom. You see me creeping there? So hard to see. If you look at the bottom, you can see how the bottom is just kind of moving there. So anyway, Rattling Flyer, glow spoon would work. My favorite, bomber slab spoon. You want to know what that bomber spoon looks like? Do I got a picture of one? That's it right there. It's nice and heavy. Really gets down there quick and really stirs up a lot of mud. So I'll just keep pounding the bottom like this until another one comes through. Let's go over this one more time then. Location, adjacent deep water. We got a steep break. Pull that up quick. Kind of like this. This is just a random lake I picked, but you can see all the dark blue there. That's all the deep water, and then the yellow is where it comes up to these, you could say flats or humps or bumps or whatever you might be fishing with the gravel on top of them. And where we're fishing is just right on the edge of that yellow, right where that steep break is what we're doing. And that is an excellent spot at night to fish these pout. If I was going to try target these pout during the day, I would be more out in the deep basin, because they're going to hang out in the deep basin during the day, and then at night they're going to come up here to feed on these crayfish like I just showed you. Because every one of these pout I've caught has been coughing up crayfish, so that is 100% what they're eating, and pout love crayfish. If you guys want to throw some comments, I'll pick a couple people. I'll send you some, I'm going to send you whatever you want. I'll pick a couple people, and then I will message you, and then you tell me what Lindy products you want to try, summer, winter, whatever, and I'll just send you a few of them. That's what we'll do for this one. We'll just fish for a little while here, and you'll see that you'll see them come creeping in here. And how and when I say they're not quite ready yet, I have no kidding seen 30, 40 pout on my electronics tonight at least. A lot of them are just swimming by and not really paying attention, so they're not really feeding heavy yet. Into next week, as we get closer to the spawn, they're going to start feeding heavy, and there's going to be some banger nights out here. It is going to be really, really, really good. Check out the pout again. There, you can look at the pout live well and watch me jig on live scope. Fathead minnows. We got kind of a river mix here, I guess you could say. There's looks like there's some rainbows and some fatheads in there. I think it is important to, at least one of those minnows to cut it in half so you get that scent down there. There's a couple different ways to jig these pout. A lot of times you'll just kind of keep it on the bottom, and you'll just give it just a slight jig like that, and you'll see them searching around, and they'll hammer it. Today they're coming up for it just like a walleye, so don't be afraid to jig these pout 2-3 feet off the bottom, because they will come up and they will find it and they will hammer it. And that's what they've been doing today, so you'll see here. We'll get one in here shortly, I'm sure, and we will see if we can work them and get them to come up off the bottom like that, and you'll see them come up and slam it. Kind of a misconception too. I think they can see a lot better, or sense a lot better than we think they can, just due to the fact, especially on Lake of the Woods too. A lot of these pout we mistake on Lake of the Woods for walleyes. They act just like them. So these pout will 100% come up and chase and crush your bait. So all your jigging doesn't have to be down in the mud, just subtle jigging. You can jig these pout up, and they'll turn just like a walleye and just come up and slam it. And that's how every one I've caught today has been. How much ice? We are sitting on 12 to 14 inches right now. Sketchy though. Be very, very careful, guys. I recommend going with a guide or a resort, and be safe, especially in the next week. These temps look like they're going to get out of control next week, so you want to be ultra careful. This ice is super dangerous, especially down here in central Minnesota. Up at Lake of the Woods, it's a hair different story, just because the temperatures are, on average 10 degrees colder up there. So the ice is a little bit better up there, and there is still some snow on the ice up there. But just be so careful. There's just been so many vehicles and all kinds of stuff going in this year. Just be very, very careful, especially towards the end of the season here when it warms up, because this ice is very sketchy. Even on the way out here, several pressure ridges, and it was not. It's not great. It's not great at all. Tim, my dead stick, it's hard to see on the live scope, but my dead stick is, can you see it if I, it's not on the bottom, but it's like right there. Just about, it's hard to see on there. Just about on the bottom. I keep it like 16th, 8th inch off the bottom, just so when those tail hook minnows kind of struggle, they kind of hit that mud a little bit and stir it up, is how I do it. It's not directly on the bottom. Kind of lose it. I got my dead stick hole way over here for some reason. Well, I can tell you why I have my dead stick hole right over there, because with these pout, they like to do this kind of thing. So I wanted to spread my lines out as far as I can, so if I catch one, I don't get everything tangled up. So I drilled that whole way over there, and I don't have the live scope turned quite right to get them perfectly, but it's just dangling just ever so close to the bottom, but not right on the bottom. And I know earlier in the week Billy was saying that it was a good dead stick bite, but tonight is definitely, we definitely have to jig him tonight for sure. My mic working? You guys hear me? Check, check. Okay, I lost my mic when I went out to the... Check. There we go. Spare mic. We're good. Perfect. You can hear me good, Josh. Thank you. Josh, I'm changing my bait a lot. I don't know, every 15, 20 minutes or so, putting fresh stuff on there just to keep that scent in the water, because a big part of this is definitely that scent. What do you guys got for questions? You can hear me too, Tim? Thank you. I appreciate that. I think I dropped my other mic outside when I went to the live well. There's a pout out in the live well again. No, Zach, I have never fished pout on Mille Lacs, personally. No, I have not. I've caught a ton of pout on Lake of the Woods, and I can't say that I've targeted pout on Lake of the Woods specifically, but I've just caught them while I was walleye fishing. As far as where I am, I will tell you that I am near Walker. That's all I'm going to say. Near Walker, fishing pout. So I'm just going to keep pounding that bottom like this and just wait. Like I said, guys, if you have questions or anything like that, go ahead and throw them out there, and I'll send a couple of you guys some Lindy lures of your choice. That's a good question. I like that question. How do I know what lakes, or how do I know what lakes to pick to target them? And you are correct. They do not net well because they're so deep. The netting is terrible. You can talk to the fisheries guys. They will tell you what lakes have pout in them. Or you have your, you have your known pout fisheries. Obviously, Mille Lacs and Winnie are two huge pout fisheries. Everybody knows that. Those are two big ones. But I would recommend just talking to the DNR fisheries guys, and they will lead you to lakes in your area that have that are full of pout. Southern Wisconsin. Is there ice in southern Wisconsin? What's going on down there in southern Wisconsin? I'm guessing there's zero ice. Rod choice, I am using a heavier rod today from Radcliffe Custom Rods. This is kind of a custom one. I wish Mark or Dale were watching. If you're wondering who the Radcliffe boys are, there is their info right there. Give them a look. They make completely one-off custom rods. This rod is much heavier than the ones I would use for walleye. As you can see, I can work it and I'm not getting a bend in it. I will show you. Let's look at what the wrong rod would do. This is the wrong rod right here that I have this bomber slab spoon tied up to. Watch what happens when you use the wrong rod. Look, that's that's not how you want to jig one of these heavy spoons with a bend in your rod tip like that. That's no good. Of course, this was the only spare rod I had with, so I have it tied up, and hopefully I don't have to use it. But that's not what you want because you're not going to get the action. You got one, Billy? Oh, Billy's going to put a pout in the. There we go. Little guy. All right. And that's what's cool about this is this bite, it goes all night. Like if you're into ice camping, this is your deal. Come out here, set up for ice camping, and just crush pout all night. You might not get much sleep. But like I was saying, this is the wrong rod. You can see that tip on that's way too fast. Don't want to use that for pout. That is not going to jig very well. I want a nice firm rod that I can pop this bait off the bottom like that. You can see there's barely any bend, just a little bit of bend. So if I do get an up bite from those pout, I'll still be able to see it. But it's a nice, heavy, stiff rod. A little bit longer rod. I'm guessing this is about a 36. The boys at Radcliffe, if you give them a message and tell them you want a pout rod, they will hook you up. They know exactly what to do. And this rod actually has a reel seat on it. Super sweet rod. I am running braid all the way, tied direct. Pout don't care. I mean, you can sure run a leader and a swivel to eliminate line twist, all that. But I don't think you're going to see many line shy pout at all. Not great. The Madison chain at 6 inches. Oh boy, that's tough over there. It's tough everywhere this year. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it's a true full moon, but the moon is super bright tonight and it looks full. It's a very, very bright outside tonight. Pay attention here because we've got about 10. We've won about 10. How long have we been going? 20 minutes here, so we should have a flurry come through. Billy just got one. You'll see they'll just be right on the bottom. A lot of times they're super hard to see. How many fish have we caught tonight? That many. What do we got in there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there 4 or 5 in there maybe? 4? The little one hiding? That's how many we've got so far tonight. And like I said, this bite is not in full swing yet. It's still just a little bit early. Next week, it's going to be going next week if the ice is safe. I decided to go live tonight because I'm worried about what's going to happen with the ice next week. So thought I'd do this now. And I mean, we're still getting some nice pouts. So I mean, it's not bad fishing right now at all. But when this bite is on, I mean, you're talking 15 to 20 pout nights some nights. It's a good time. These things, they fight too. It's fun. Really fun. Just wait for one to come through here. Hey Ed, what's up, man? Yeah, I imagine with the current up at the angle, Ed, that ice is going to it's going to go real quick, real quick. Especially in those current areas up at the angle. It's it's tough. It's a tough year. I do stick around next week. I want to go live tip up fishing because I know the pike are starting to go on tip ups up there. So that's my plan for next week. So stick around to watch that. I've seen some very good pike reports from up there, so I think that next week is going to be the start of the pike tip up, and it's going to be really good, really, really good. No kidding, Tom. 21 pout and 1 outing. Pout? Is that what you're talking about, Tom? 21? Sweet. Is it Michigan? Sweet. That'd be fun. Upper Michigan is gorgeous. Am I reading that right, Tom? 21 pout, 1 outing, Upper Michigan? Do a little scrolling here. Really surprised we haven't seen one here. When I'm scrolling, take a look at the pout. When you say custom casting ice rod, are you talking like a kind of like a bait caster setup, right? Is that what you're kind of referring to, I think? And that actually wouldn't be a bad idea. That would actually be a sweet setup for these guys. You know, I didn't even know there was that good of pout fishing in the UP, to tell you the truth. But that's sweet, so sweet. Logan, 20 feet deep right now. 20 feet deep, comes up to about 10, 8 to 10 up here. Back there, dips down to about 40. So we're right on that steep transition where it comes up. These pout are coming, hitting that, coming up, and we're kind of intercepting them on their way up is what's going on here. Brian, crayfish color, no, you need something bright. They don't see the best, so you need the brighter and bright, heavy, obnoxious, a lot of bait on it, you want a lot of smell, a lot of glow, you want a lot of everything with these pout. I mean, this spoon I'm using, I'll show it to you again, but this spoon I'm using is obnoxious. I mean, it's big. I'm gonna rebait actually. I lost a couple minnows there, but it's really big. So like I said with this, my half a minnow is still on there, so I'm gonna tail hook these two guys so that when they get down there, they kind of flutter like a wounded bait fish. Just like so. And then we'll drop it back down, just like that, guys. That's what I'm doing. See, I got a little bit of glow tape stuck on this one. Back down just like that. Continue to pound that bottom. Yeah, I agree. That would actually be a super sweet lake trout. That's a good setup, and for pout, that would be a sweet sweet setup also for sure. Really sweet setup. You might see me out there with that next year, maybe, just for something different. Yeah, if I was setting up during the day, I'd be off this shallow structure just a little ways in the mud where they'd be staging, just right out here. It's kind of a featureless mud basin is what it is, and they'll just kind of go out there during the day and they'll just be milling around out there. They're not playing the game. It's funny though, when they come through, you'll see groups of 4 or 5 come through at once when they do come through. Let's wait it out here a little while longer, see if we can get one to play the game with us. Is that one down there? Nope. Chris, biggest pout I've ever caught. The Lake of the Woods pout are gigantic. I'm gonna say like around 35 inches, probably something like that. I'm sure that's around. I'm gonna say that's probably 10 to 12 pound pout, somewhere in there, I guess. The Lake of the Woods pout, the colors aren't quite there like these, but they are big fat pout up there. Yeah, Brian, rattle baits are awesome. Rattle and flyer, you can use a rattle and flyer. That'll work just as good as anything. Rattle and flyer is a great pout bait. I have caught probably the majority of my pout on Lake of the Woods on a rattle and flyer. It works very, very good for pout. No issues there with that rattle and flyer and pout. Huh. Night crawlers in February? No. Not unless they're still sitting in the Cabela's cooler. Let's hang out here for a little while longer and we will see what goes on. What else you guys got for me? Andy, I do like the Rattling Flyer. That's a super good bait. Glow spoon would work, but I'd say my two main baits I'm going to use are going to be the Bomber Slab Spoon, which if you didn't see before, that is the Bomber Slab Spoon. Or the Rattling Flyer. There's your Rattling Flyer right there. Pink Tiger Glow, that's a brand new color Rattling Flyer. All the new colors glow. Just not playing the game right now. No, the deep hole next to me is huge. It's like a big basin is what it is. It's really big.
Just a big flat basin is all it is, and then this is just, you know, kind of along the shoreline where it kind of starts to come up is what we're sitting on right here. Finesse pout. I have not ran into finesse pout, but I'm not saying that isn't a thing that could definitely happen. And I will tell you, earlier today, I did consider downsizing, and then I started catching them. I was just about to start throwing stuff at them, smaller stuff, because they were just kind of looking and swimming and looking and swimming, and I was about to downsize, but then they started hitting, so I did not. Bob, you're going to build me a pout rod? Bob, you build me a pout rod. How about you build me a pout rod, Bob, and we'll go, I know Bob Bolin. You build me a pout rod, and we'll go pout fishing with our pout rods. 100%, Bob. I haven't hung out with you in a long time, man. We should do that. I want to answer your question there a little better, Brian. I think when you said rattle baits, you meant like a glow streak or something like that. I think that definitely could work for pout. I mean, it definitely could. It's not common practice to use that kind of bait. And then with the rattle baits, you know, if you take and stack up a bunch of bait on that rattle bait, like I'm doing here, that a lot of times will kill the action of that rattle bait. So I probably wouldn't. I'd probably stay away from the rattle baits. Not saying they wouldn't work, because they probably would work because they're loud and obnoxious. But for me personally, the Bomber Slab Spoon has been my absolute go-to. Bauer, how long before we're on the rainy? I don't know. 2 weeks. It's gonna be quick. That rainy is gonna be open real quick. I've seen reports. You know, there's areas by Birchdale, Manitou, stuff like that, where there's a lot of open water already. So that rainy, once we get some nice sunny 50-degree days, you're going to see that thing open really fast. I think as long as this weather does what they say this weather is going to do, you're going to see you know, an extended rainy river run this spring. And I will tell you that I remember the last time we had a low snow winter and early ice off, the fishing on the rainy was phenomenal. So watch for that. I'll definitely be going up there, because that, if you hit that right, it's really good. And you know, with the timing on that rainy, it is a timing thing. You want to hit it after ice out, but you want to hit it before the Big Fork and Little Fork and those tributaries open up and muddy it up. So it's kind of a little bit of timing thing. And I don't know this year what effect those tributaries are going to have on the rainy, just because we don't have the snow cover and all the runoff like we usually do. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I do know on, you know, low runoff years, low water years like we're going to have this year, that rainy fishing can be fire. It can be really, really good. So that's something you want to think about doing for sure. Funny how that works. Pout coming through all night until I turn that camera on. Let's see what we got going on that live well. They're just hanging out. Just take a minute and look at the colors on those pout. I don't know that you can find a more beautiful fish than those. Look at those. Unbelievable, the colors in central Minnesota. Greg, yeah, that's what we got going there. We got the Garmin Live Scope is what I'm using today. A lot of times you see me using the Humminbird Mega Live, and that's actually on right now, sitting outside the shack, because I was planning on hole hopping with that. Gonna settle it down here for a minute and hold it still, see if that changes stuff instead of pounding the bottom. I've got a 12-inch head unit, GPS map, something, something, something. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know the exact model. I will tell you that this is out of my boat, this head unit, and a 12-inch head unit is way too big to bring ice fishing because it is obnoxious and it's heavy. I would not recommend that. 9-inch, 9 or 10-inch is the perfect size to have on your ice shuttle. 12 is it's just too much. It's too heavy. And I just pulled this one out of my boat and put it on the shuttle is why I'm using it, but 12 is too big. Yeah, I agree. Probably is about hole hopping time. Unfortunately, it's impossible to bring this camera setup with me when I hole hop, so we'll have to log off and do that. I was hoping to show you guys a pout here, but they're just not cooperating. I can guarantee you the second I log off, if you watch the Lindy Facebook stories, I'll post it, I'll catch one. Because that's how that always goes every single time. Yeah, this live scope is really something. It's sweet. And right now, you can't see it on this screen there, but right now I'm on 20 feet of water, and at the zoom level I have it at, I'm looking 12 feet out in the ovalish cone shape it has. Check on our pout again. Like I said, this bite goes on all night. Billy was telling me on the way out here that for some reason he always, oh, there's one right there. For some reason he always has a nice bite at 3, 4 a.m. So I'm going to be real seeking right underneath my bait there. He's just, that's what they do is they hug the bottom like that, and they're so hard to see. I hope you guys could see him on there. See him right there coming up? Yeah, you can see him. Oh, there he flared. Pound the bottom just gently and bring it up. See, that fish is super finicky. That he's moving a little fast to be a pout. That might be a walleye. And that's how I distinguish the difference on the live scope. Oh, yeah, he's going way too fast to be a pout. I don't know what that is. Pout are slow. Walleye pike are fast. He looks smaller too. I don't think that was a pout. Ryan. Thanks for tuning in, Ryan. There's a pout cam for you. Gonna give her a few more minutes here, and then we're gonna be done for the night. I'm not gonna be done for the night. I'm gonna go for a few more hours and try to get that big boy. The funny thing about these lives is when I go back and I watch them, the amount of fish that swim by me when I'm not looking is substantial. And I have caught a few while I've been reading, too. Here's some more bottom pounds. One thing about, now watch this, just from me pounding the bottom, see, there it got a little tangled up. And what happens is these minnows fall off. What you can do to combat that is you can take like a little piece of like artificial bait, like plastic bait, rubber bait, and you can put it on your hook after you put the minnow on, and that will kind of help keep it on. I know some guys do that. This treble hook on this slab spoon is gigantic, so it does hold the bait pretty nice, but you know, slamming it on the bottom like that continuously, you're going to lose a lot of bait, which isn't a bad thing because you're going to want to rebait a lot anyway to keep that fresh scent down there. There you can see it going to the bottom. We'll let it hit. A few pumps. Look like a good fish too. Oh, stick around. I'll miss a couple more too. I won't even see them. You wait. Stick around. As we talk about eating pout, I do eat pout. I eat quite a bit of pout. My favorite way to do it is pout wontons. Boil them in 7-Up or chicken broth. Then throw them in a wonton wrapper with some cream cheese, French onion soup dip. Like the powdered, put it in there, fry it up quick. Super good. That's one of my favorite ways to eat pout. But you know what? You can chunk it up and deep fry it, and it's delicious. There's a lot of meat on one of these too. So if you haven't tried it, you really should try it. I know some people boil it in like 7-Up and then they do the garlic butter thing. You can also do that. I don't generally do it that way, but that's another great way to do it. Like I said, if you want to catch pout like this and do it safely with a guide, I think Billy's wrapping it up for the year just because of the bad ice conditions. But next year, if you're looking for a pout trip and you want to come try this, Minnesota Northern Adventures Backwater Guide Service is the name. Billy Smith. Look him up on Facebook. I'll throw his name in the comments when I'm done here so you can see it. Great guy to go out, and he'll show you the ropes on how to catch burbot if you'd like to go with a guide and do it. But it's not rocket science. Just remember, burbot eat crayfish. Go where the crayfish live, drop something heavy down, catch burbot. It's not that difficult. It's something that's totally doable by yourself. And like I said, the cool part is you can come do this in the evenings, like after work, once the kids are in bed. He's posing for you. There we go. There's one right there. See him? Yep. Swimming the wrong way. If I can entice him a little bit. Yep. Popped up and he came at us and then swam. Okay, maybe we'll get a little. Normally there's more than one, so maybe we'll get a little flurry here before I log off. We're almost at the 1 hour point. After this, everybody watch your DMs. I'm going to send a few of you some Lindy fishing tackle. Probably give it 5 more minutes here. Marcus, current ice conditions where I am located are sketchy. Near Walker are sketchy, very sketchy. I did see that, you know, there are resorts still doing this safely. High Banks on Winnie is a prime example. I saw on their Facebook that they have an ice road, and he had a truck out there today, and looks like they're doing it very safely. I would highly recommend going with a resort or a guide and doing it safely. The ice is very, very sketchy. There's pressure ridges everywhere, cracks, especially in central Minnesota. It's a little better up north, but still exercise extreme caution. It's not great. It's not great anywhere right now, I don't think. It hasn't been great all winter, actually. It's been tough. Most addicting thing is watching that graph. If we had some burbot floating away on the bottom there, or cruising through, it'd really be addicting. It's video game fishing, right? Get some line out and tap that bottom a little. Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, walleye closes soon in central Minnesota. Yeah, the ice season it's going to come to an end very quickly here with this weather forecast, I think. So everybody needs to be super careful the next week or two, if there even is a week or two left. I don't know. It's going to end quick. Reed Utalo. There's another guy. If you are looking for a guide, click on that comment. Check out Reed. Super good dude. Guides around Grand Rapids area. He'll take you out safely. No, I don't have a burbot mounted, but I want a burbot mounted. Let's pop up Reed's comment there. Everybody go over to Reed's page and give him a follow. Super good guy, super good guide in the area. Yeah, a mounted burbot. Central Minnesota burbot with these colors on them would look sweet on a mount, actually. Any taxidermists watching? Jamie Risby, are you watching? You guys want a good taxidermist, Jamie Risby or Jim Benson? I don't know if Jim's doing fish anymore in East Grand Forks, but there's Wayne Zesby over in Lakota. I don't know if he's still doing fish or not either. I know Risby for sure. I want to say, I'm going to screw that up, but I want to say he's in Cooperstown. Super good taxidermist, avid fisherman. If you're looking for a mount, he's a guy to check out. You really got to pay attention to when you're burbot fishing, even with if you're a Vexilar works fine, or whatever you might be using, because these things hug the bottom so tight they are very hard to see sometimes. Even on the Garmin Live Scope, a lot of times they are super hard to see. Oh, Brian thinks Zespi's in Fargo. Zespi can paint a fish. I tell you what, his paint jobs are phenomenal. Another one, he actually did my daughter's sturgeon is Artistic Angler out in Duluth, Minnesota. He is another one to check out. He has some super nice fish that he does too. He did a 72-inch sturgeon mount that my daughter caught out of the Rainy River, and I actually just got it probably a month ago, and he did a very, very nice job on it. Highly recommend him too. How about a burbot mount? So you see when they spawn that you get these burbot balls when they spawn, they all get together and group up and they're doing their thing and spawning. And how about like a burbot ball spawn mount? Have like 11 burbot in a mount on your wall, all twisted up and in a ball. That'd be sweet. That'd be a really sweet mount actually. That got me thinking. There's Reed again. Yeah, that dude, Reed, that guy out of Duluth is phenomenal, actually. He goes to a lot of sport shows, or he did go to a lot of sport shows anyway, and he has this one mount where it's a pike, it's a spearing mount, so it's like a stand-up pike with a spear in it. It's probably one of the coolest mounts I've ever seen. He does some really off-the-wall stuff, and really cool off-the-wall stuff. Wish I had a picture of that sturgeon. It's funny because I went to pick this sturgeon up and he met me in Park Rapids is where he met me, and it's so long we almost couldn't fit it in the back of my pickup. I had to kind of prop it up and put it sideways in there to get it in there. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into when I ordered a 72-inch fish mount. It's almost like some type of ocean fish. It's so big. All right, if you got any more questions, now's the time. I'm going to log off in just a minute here. So hopefully I've given you the info so you yourself can go out and catch one of those. Highly recommend trying it. If you have any questions about burbot fishing, you're going burbot fishing, want to know anything that we haven't covered, go ahead and go to my Facebook page or my personal Instagram, just Nate Altendorf. Go there. Do I have a thing I can go there? And shoot me a message if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and I usually, after these kind of things, I answer a absurd amount of questions, and I try to get to all you guys, and I think I usually do. My sturgeon mount? No. You know, it's so big and obnoxious the way it is. All I've got is just a massive sturgeon on the wall. I think if I would have added rocks or habitat to that, I would have had to like build another room to put the thing in. It's big, like really big. My daughter wanted it in her room, and I took it out of my truck, and I thought to myself, this is not even going to fit in your room. You don't have a wall that big. It's big, really big. I wonder if you don't, Artistic Angler, I imagine, has a Facebook page. I don't know if he's got it on there, but I imagine possibly he does. If you cruised his Facebook page, he may have a picture of it on there. I don't know. Yeah, super nice guy. He delivered that mount for me all the way from Duluth and met me in Park Rapids with it. So he's a stand-up dude for sure. All right, guys, I am going to log off here since these BURBOT do not want to cooperate right now. All right, we're going to log off. Thank you for watching, everybody. Like I said before, if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up on my personal pages, and I will go ahead and answer those for you. If you're looking for any of these baits we covered today or anything I'm using, LureNet.com has got everything you need, or your local retailers have a lot of this kind of stuff, but always refer back to LureNet. They got everything. Like I said, more than happy to answer any kind of questions, anything like that. Billy, what am I going to fish live next? Tip-up pike. I want to do tip-up pike next because tip-up pike on Lake of the Woods is something special, and I want to show you guys how I do it. So that is hopefully next week will be tip-up pike, so stay tuned for that. I could try give you a little heads up, before I do that too. If you just keep an eye on the Lindy page. You can turn your notifications on for these lives so you get a notification when I go live. That would help. But I do post all these afterwards so you can always watch them. So, all right, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you next time.